morning, good afternoon, good night, guys, and welcome to another week's episode of Eat Fruit Pod. I'm your girl, Kay.
I am your girl, Killer. 4 A's to you. You know the drill. Right? Big drink up.
Right, I fucked up and I didn't charge the mixer today, so sorry, guys. No sound effects for today. But Killa, how are you doing? How was your week? I'm loving this vibe. Don't go chasing waterfalls, you know?
I don't think days are gonna stop blurring. I feel like it's always gonna be like one whole like 456 hours. And that's just what it's gonna be. Life is actually really great. Life is really good. Like it's all over the place. I don't even know how to describe it, but I see the bigger picture. So shellings, just it is what it is.
Shelling out the blessings for real.
Yeah, man.
And honestly, with everything happening in the news, I heard this random report, this article where it was trying to say how they're possibly maybe training like dogs now at the airport to test or sniff out for COVID-19. And like people are starting to, of course, appeal to it and like advocate to be like, okay, but those like, different sides of the argument. And another side is just like, oh, they can possibly be spreading the panini as well. So like, I forgot not to say the C. I forgot not to say the C word. Fuck. But
yeah.
Right? And I'm like, yo. It's wild out here. I don't know if they're actually going to proceed with it, but like the news has been wild. Like I literally feel like I'm watching that movie with Adam Sandler, Little Nicky, where like, have you seen that movie? I hope you guys have seen that at home. Where like, you get the 2 sons or the 3 sons, and then they're like possessing politicians. They're possessing all these people in the city, and everything is just, like some people are saying they may drop all the restrictions soon. Like there will be no more restrictions anywhere. I don't know. But on the other side, right? Because I don't want to leave you guys just so sad and depressed at the beginning of the episode. But on the other side, I was listening to this podcast with Jane Goodall. Shout outs to her. Love her work. Really smart woman. She's like advocate. She's known for doing a lot of work with the chimpanzees and that type of stuff. So she was like discussing how now I lost it. It will come back to me. But James Goodall was giving hope out there, expressing how hope is very powerful and still alive in the world that we live today. Oh yeah, that was the point I was making. She's lived through World War II. You know what I mean? She's seen the shits. Like she's been through this type of thing, if even worse. So she's just like, yo, like things are so bad. She's like, this ain't bad. Things are so bad that like stuff will fall on the floor. You still got to eat that. Like it ain't, she's like, it's not that bad. She's like, the real war right now is with nature. And us as humans, like, we should kind of be like ashamed of ourselves in the sense of calling ourselves Homo sapiens because, how we're being the world's wisest, what is the word, Killa?
Mammal.
Yes. And like the fact of like, we're just doing all these things that lead to destruction as opposed to like, you know what I mean? You take away, she's like some area she noticed had construction and they demolished like some of the buildings and she was able to hear the birds again, which she hasn't in so long. So just little things about that, how we infringe on like nature's natural habitat.
Word.
Yeah.
I think one thing that we're forgetting in this is that like, this is a time of change. You know what I mean? Like you want COVID to be here and done, but like COVID was a catalyst for change. And like, we're still in a time and a space of change and transition. So like shit's gonna be up in the air. But the last thing I'd like to say about that is just say no to fear mongering. The fucking dogs, are you dumb? Like, are you effing stupid? You're out here trying to scare people into getting, like, what, are you stupid?
Bruh.
Okay. okay, if I have to link this to the caucasity in the world right now, there's gonna be a whole another fucking rant and rave about that. But like, say no to fear mongering at this point. Honestly, like, go inside and figure out if you have any courage, and then go about your life. If you're watching the news, find your courage and go about your life. Dogs, panini sniffing dogs.
Dog.
Am I going to have some panini in my suitcase? Am I gonna smuggle panini?
Panini? Like, how does that? Girl, there are so many questions.
I'm not even really one for cunnilingus, okay? Just leave me alone.
It's wild out here. It's wild out here. It's wild out here. So, you know, keep your guard up. I look at the planes now more often in the sky. I'm like, damn, I miss y'all. Like, I really want to go at one of y'all, but I'm like, is it worth it? Like, that's really, and kudos to all of you that are able to do it. And I'm happy you guys have returned back to your journeys safely. You know what I mean? All those great experiences I hear, but I just, you know, like when you wait to do something for so long, it just, for me, my fear or my anxiety around it just keeps building and building and building and building and building. And I'm just like, I really need a PJ to travel now. Like, how we gonna do this, God? Because me and the people and the gates and the crowd and all these wild videos that I'm seeing, it's like,
it is like you're just being fed a whole bunch of nonsense. That's why my Instagram is not up and running. Like, I can't keep being fed misinformation. Like what's my voice? What's my ideals? What's my thoughts versus what all this other shit is? I shouldn't have to be trying to cut through the noise like that.
1,000. And
you have a mind of your own these days. Like, go find yourself. That's what it is. It's not even about panini. It's not even about sniffing dogs or touching a flight or being like, you shouldn't be afraid to be a human. We've literally just become afraid to be humans. I'm touching a flight. I don't give a, I'm touching a flight. I'm doing whatever I want to do. I'm going outside. You want to know why? Because I was going to do it before. And when I talked to God, he said it was okay. So no. Like, this is mod. You're like, our physiology is being changed. Our psychology is being like messed around with. Like, go inside and find yourself and stop listening to these people and stop voting them in. Damn it. Like, God damn, what's wrong with y'all? Cut it out. Okay, maybe that's not what's wrong with y'all, but like, just do better. Like, think for yourself.
For real.
Stop letting a collective think for you. Think for yourself.
I did see a random news clip through CBC that the liberals were trying to promote the fact of, like, if they're voted in for, I believe it was like 2022 or something, they wanted to be introducing or passing the bill of the 4-day work week. I'm like, that is a sure way to get some niggas to vote for you.
Like, of course you're gonna drop a 4-day work week after everybody works from home now. Like, don't talk to me. Talk to me nice, okay?
That part.
Talk to me fucking nice. Don't talk to me like I'm an idiot, please.
Actually, it's so funny you say that, because one of my workplaces, like, they always kind of do a temp check to be like, yo, are you happy with your benefits or whatever? But this time, the way they approached it was like, yo, y'all let us know. We want to do what's best for y'all because we love y'all. And literally, I didn't think about it like that, but literally, like, and that's what, oh my God, I wish I could remember what I was listening to, but they were talking about, it's the fact of like us realizing, the people realizing that we are the ones with the power and operating as such when we move out. And we've been seeing small, like, micro doses of that happening everywhere around the world. So, you know, salutes to the people. All right. And like, let's try our best to like stick together because we all we got. We all we got. But other than that, my week, I know it was like so long ago, but my week was good. Shout outs to Romeo Wilson. We just recorded an interview together. He's a really great guy. He just dropped a new album called Breakfast in Bed. And interview was real spicy. I did not eat fruit, mind my business at all. So I think everyone should be seeing that in about like a week or two. So y'all be sure to let me know. What y'all think? I told them to make me look on camera, so I hope, I could only hope that they heard me and, made a bitch look about 10 pounds lighter, I hope. So we go see.
Joke.
We go see.
Joke.
Yeah, but salute to him. We're good. Yeah. Was there anything you kind of wanted to talk about else, like, before we dive into pineapple fruit for the week? I should stop moving this. The mic is probably picking up.
No. I feel like if the people are good, like, thanks for coming in for another week. Like, we're about to get into something cute for you, but other than that, like, as long as everybody's good, everybody's safe, or everybody feels like they can get to good, we good.
Yeah. And rest in peace to Colin Powell. He was like the first Black US secretary. Heavy man. I went into a little bit of a rabbit hole just watching some of his like speeches and stuff. Very intellectual man. So
also Jamaican.
Okay, I knew his name sounded extra familiar. Jamaican. And I was like, okay, now. Yeah, I did. Yeah, for sure. So sorry. Rest in peace to him. Condolences to his family and friends. He was someone very important, as you said, not even just for US, but like all the first worlds and world. A lot was impacted by him. So right. Condolences to that. As well, there was a lot of like noise happening on the internet. It was just internet was interneting, but I was trying to cut through. I'm trying to remember. There was something. Oh, I also want to say, and it's not a whole Panini talk, but like leave Kyrie Irving the fuck alone. And I want y'all to realize if this is how they're playing with Kyrie Irving.
What's been happening with that? Like,
he's a part of the NBA and said he's not getting vaccinated.
Okay, that's what it is. And did he get a fake vaccination or something?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. He is literally just like, I don't want to do it. And the NBA is not gonna.
How crazy that is, that like just you think, so I actually do have a choice and I'm going to exercise it. No, you know what? No means no. Let's reinstate that. No means no.
Period. Like the way, and I'm just like, not that I had a sigh of relief, but what we discussed like privately and what we did let out publicly. And I'm just like, it's everything that we talked about and said. And it's just like, if this is how they're dealing with someone that earns millions of dollars and would have more power, because as we said last week, money is power, right? What you think is happening to us? What choices do we have? Like, it's.
See, when you say what choices we have, I'm like, I don't feel that way anymore. Like, the way I'm feeling is, if you're gonna try and hold on to your life, you're gonna lose it. But if you're cool to like die for what you believe in, you might keep your life. And I don't say that on some like super militant tip. I'm just saying like, this is not a big deal. Yeah. One human being out of 1 billion people in a country says they don't want to be vaccinated. Aren't you at herd vaccination? Why do we have the lynch mob against people who just want to make their own decisions? And it comes down to like, when you have a decision that's contrary to the majority, you have to feel that way. Like, all right, cool. If you want to kill me, and persecute me for how I feel, I don't care. I have the right to feel that way. It's crazy times.
And it's like exactly what I was explaining. And someone was kind of breaking down some of the NBA paperwork in comparison to like NFL and like kneeling and things of that nature, right? And it's just like similar to what the workplace is, or at least, jobs that I know what people have been saying, you get a date and this is a date. And if you don't at least have proof of one job by then, you're out, and it's going to be under insubordination. And that's literally how the NBA is moving as well. And then you have all your colleagues and coon people like Stephen A. Smith, even though he's such a legend as we see him, but for whatever reason, he ain't writing for us like that. I don't know how many checks he's getting for it, and like forcing us to do something. And it's just like I said, if you're a single parent out there, if you're someone that is on the brink of homelessness, if you're someone that, you know what I mean? you're in heavy situations, and this is your only source of income, and these people are pressing you, and at least in your world and in your incubator, in every which way that feels like a wall, you're going to fall under the pressure or do it for the reason of income and stability and maintaining somewhat of the lifestyle you've been having through this panini.
Yo, I mean,
Super fucked up.
You touched on hope like few minutes ago, and I'm just like, if you are in that situation, I pray that you have that hope, or you have like a core of faith or so, because where there's a will, there's a way. And just because the beaten path isn't looking so easy anymore, like maybe it's time to walk the unbeaten path for you, you know, like
1000.
And maybe that faith can help you have some kind of like innovation or ingenuity to say, yo, I'm gonna go do my own thing right now. I don't care. Like, I've been I'm still reading the Master Key System, since you can only read one chapter a week, and like sometimes I have other shit to do, so I take 2 weeks to get my meditation exercises, like, where I get them to move on.
Yeah.
One of the things that were in the book is it gave an example of like almost not necessarily natural selection or evolution, but it had an example of a study where they took a bed of roses, and they dried them, and they put them in a room with like a window in it, and they had aphids on the roses, and the aphids obviously, you know, those little tiny green bugs, and they're not beetles, they're not ants, they're not whatever, and they're usually on the back side of leaves and stuff.
Yeah.
Those are aphids, and they're usually not winged. They just have legs.
Yeah.
And basically in the study, what they found out is that when they removed the food source, which was the roses, that's why they dried them, that eventually when the aphids got smart or got hip to the fact that the roses were no longer a food source and there was no other food sources around, they grew wings and they flew onto the window because they needed to fly out the window because they needed to go find food. And the point of that is, if you need it, you'll get the mental attitude to get it, and you will make yourself what you need to be in order to get what you need. And like, don't ever like underestimate your power just because you're one. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very used to being the unpopular person because my opinions do differ from everybody else's, or I put myself first in certain situations. Yeah. And it's the same thing. Like, you just have to be okay with understanding that you might not be doing what everybody else is doing. But in the meantime, like, think that you might be doing what's best for you.
Facts.
And that's very important. Like, don't discount that. Don't discount yourself, man.
Don't. And that is actually perfect segue into our pineapple fruit this week, because Killa and I want to discuss, you know, what am I doing with my investment? And this week, when we say investment, we're not talking about money, but we are talking about ourselves. So this week, for the rest of the episode, when we're saying investment, we're talking about self, right? So with that being said, right, when you look at the term of what the word investment means, sorry, I just want to read that. I had it here. Sorry, 1 second. There we go. So investment means, according to Oxford Dictionary, the action or process of investing money for profit or material result. And then it says, archaic is the sounding of a place by a hostile force in order to besiege or blockade it. Okay. Either way, you get the point, right? So investment is profit or material result, right? So it doesn't even say monetary, right? So that's already a conversation in itself. But what is it that you would say, Killa, are some of the things that you think about when it comes to like investment in self?
just enriching yourself, drawing to yourself the things that you need or desire. Just in general, like an overarching way of looking at it.
Yeah, literally.
Building yourself maybe into hold on. Making your to-be list and filling it. You know what I mean? Like making yourself the person that you need to be in order to receive. I would say that in itself is an investment. Because usually when you do that, that's like based on principles that kind of like principles and equations that don't go nowhere after you get them.
Facts. And when you think about the to-do and to-be list, and you think about investments, the little bit of time that I really want to be an accountant, right? You have your ledger, right? And you have your assets and liabilities. So, you know, you kind of like think of it that way where you have two sides of it. But another part of investment, because I'm trying to be wealthy, I know Killa's trying to be wealthy, we're all trying to be wealthy.
Depends on what.
That's why I said wealthy, not rich, wealthy. Stick with me, hear me out, right? Why I say we're all trying to be wealthy is because self-improvement, involvement, that's the way I'm thinking about it. Because as I said, when we say investment today, we're talking about self, right? So we're trying to be, I will say I am trying to be wealthy with my investment. That is the goal. When I think of wealth, it's something that is generation to generation and generation. So in this sense, right, my wealth would be also breaking generational curses. That's something that transcends through generation, right? Third generation rich, fourth generation rich, like, right? So I'm thinking of it in that structure. So another part of being that is really important of investing, or when, you know, you're someone that, like, for example, with Drake, right? I always say now I love to see the choices and things that he's doing, right? Because he's completely investing. He's at a stage now where he's been in this music industry for like a decade or more. And it's at a point now where we're witnessing him, or I hope you guys are at least noticing, it's called diversification of income, right? And that is something really important if you're really trying to become wealthy, or even rich, but wealthy, right? So when last week we spoke about being in the flow of money is something that come and goes. So it's not necessarily save, but it's getting within the flow of money and always trying to maintain or be within the flow, right? Of the way it's coming. So am I diversified, right? I won't put on you. So like, am I diversified? Because I would be I'm the investment. So have I diversified my portfolio, right? So when I was breaking down that thought, I was like, okay, you have to invest in lucrative places. So like, if you could think of a business, Killa, to be like, all right, this is a business that I've seen them invest in the right things, right? In your business, you're going to invest in marketing. You're going to invest in a team. You're going to invest in like all those stuff, right? What do you think like some places would be that you would invest in yourself? Because you're like the investment. Sure. How would you diversify like yourself?
Knowledge. Understanding of self, understanding of God. Psychologically, mentally, emotionally. Yeah, those are the ones that I can think of for right now off the top of my head. If we're just, because this is still very over.
Yeah. Yeah.
In terms of where I would be diversified. Knowledge is still really broad, because even when you say emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, like all of, like, you can get knowledge in all of those individual places, but the knowledge all comes down to bringing you knowledge of self. And that for me is a major place that I invest in, is knowledge of self and understanding of self.
Yeah.
And even like just building self-awareness for me right now is very much an investment. I feel like I'm being prompted to expand my studies, like my actual scholarly studies, So that would definitely be another place to consider yourself, or to consider an investment into yourself. And I say scholarly, not necessarily because like you don't necessarily have to go to school, you don't necessarily have to go to university. Sometimes it might just be an online course. Maybe you are going to go to the library and you can find the right book. Hey, maybe you can go online and literally just cruise on the internet and find what you need. But
Facts.
just gaining some kind of knowledge so you have just more of a base.
I agree with that. And like, I was thinking along the same lines, right? So I was like, all right, how are the ways that I invest in myself? Because last week and the week before that, we kind of discussed that, where it's just like, check your motives, and like we're asking for power and everything. So this was just like another expansion on that thought. But I was like, okay, what are the different ways as a human that I like invest into myself? So some of the stuff that I had down was like health. That is one way of like investing into myself. Knowledge / education was another way. I think like that is a good way. Not okay, I won't say a good way, but like a type of investment that you can invest into self. Physical appearance, habitat / like living environment, and I had like community / team. So I just kind of wanted, we could like go through them individually. So I was like, for health, right? That's like self-explanatory and exactly like is what you just said. So would there be anything else in terms of health that you would like embellish on, or?
Yeah, it's just like making sure that you're feeding your body properly. Like as you get older, that habit, even the habit of it, becomes an investment, because you won't be able to feed your body for what it needs if you don't build the habit to do so. Not to mention, like we get taught how to eat in very weird ways. Like we get taught how to eat in like fad diets for some reason. I don't really know why. And it's not necessarily, you're not necessarily taught how to eat for your body's best interest. You just eat what you eat, and then when you get older, you have these weird eating habits that you have to be responsible for. So I would say what you're putting in your body and creating or recreating eating habits that are conducive to like a healthy body. Making sure you drinking your water.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Sorry, Kayla, not to cut you. I literally started buying like the plastic containers with the writing on the side. And like on my cup, I will write $1 million. And I'm trying to like mind fuck myself. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, this helps motivate me to drink a gallon, if even more, a day. Because I feel like I'm drinking $1 million every time I finish that cup of water that I have. So that's just an example I shared with you guys as something weird that I do personally, but that helps me to, I feel like I'm investing in my health. And every time that's $1 million, right? That's the way I just, mentally felt like that would work for me. Health on every level. Like I was talking about, last week, my issues with McDonald's and how I really need to cut that like out of my life, or the frequency that I have of it. And it's like, yo, I need to ask myself, why am I craving this right now? There's other stuff in the fridge. I have better options, XYZ. So that is like, literally, I'm investing into my health. I'm not just getting the cheapest version of like maybe a vitamin that I'll see at the dollar store or something. I'm investing the extra whatever, and I'm going to Healthy Planet to really like get the things that I know are more qualitative. Food, like, before, I find that I was kind of taught to grocery shop based on survival, or I always felt like, I don't know, it's packing a barrel, like what's on sale. That's how the meals are determined. And like, I get it. I totally get it. But I'm curating a life for myself now where I'm just like, you know what? I don't have an issue with going to like No Frills and stuff. I get like certain things from there, but meat, which I don't even have that much these days, but when I do, meat, fish, all those things, I get it from Farm Boy. Farm Boy, and I'm not plugging them. There's no ads in this. I'm just saying it as an example to be like, these are these are one of the places that like I know they have a high grade or the highest grade of, you know, through doing some work, because I'm investing in my health, doing some research, knowledge, education, like, you know, I mean, like, all right, this is a great place to get products from because they X, Y, Z, 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 right? You're a great investor in your health, Killa. So I'm surprised we're quiet on this one, because that is like, I learned even a lot of that even from you.
Not so much quiet, but I mean, health is health, but health is very expensive because we're talking about physical health, and that's great, but also mental health.
No, that's what I mean, like health, yeah.
Yeah, no, we're just getting into it a little slower maybe, but yeah, that's what I was gonna get into next, is like really investing in your mental health and your spiritual health. Finding practices, maybe even just hobbies that steady your mind. Even things like yoga, to start a light walk into like a spiritual practice, or even to segue to meditation. There's not as much emphasis put on that, so you end up having to do a lot more research, and even that in itself is an investment, going down a rabbit hole of R&D for things that can help you live better, feel better, or just function better. And just finding things that can help, finding what your gauge is and what helps boost your mood versus what brings your mood down. And I feel like that also ties into the way that you eat, and the way that we were taught to eat, because a lot of the things that we eat aren't good for our bodies, and they fuck with our serotonin, or they spike our serotonin, or they cause hormonal imbalances.
It's like tea. That. No sugar, no milk.
There you go. And sugar, like all of those things, like they tie in together, and like sometimes you don't know that your head is foggy because you ate too much corn. You know what I'm saying? Like,
huge fact.
There's a lot of shit popping, and like spirituality, like there's a lot of things wrong with the world, even though there's a lot of things great with the world, because we can't always sit down and harp on the whack stuff. But
yeah,
I am astonished by the fact that like spirituality and belief in God and higher powers, it's either been trivialized or it's been subdued. So not so many people really understand that you are in a spiritual walk right now, whether or not you feel like you are tapping into a spiritual power. And understanding that a little bit is definitely an investment, but because it adds to your health. You know what I'm saying? We've been talking about gratitude, we've been talking about hope, faith, all that kind of stuff. And those things are mood boosters. You know what I mean? Like if you can just tell your brain something and it releases a little chemical and you start feeling better about your life, that's a pretty large chain of events. And I see I put a lot of investment there. Like that's probably where I put the majority of my investment, is making sure that like my mind is right and that I am in constant connection with God. And I feel like that's made me wealthy. I am wealthy. I'm not trying to be wealthy. I'm wealthy. I'm richer than a lot of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like have your bank account, but I know when you see me, you can see my aura from across the fucking room. And it's not because I'm better than you, it's because I put in the work.
Yeah. The hard work.
Hard ass work.
It's really hard work.
But yeah, continuing along with that, like that becomes a great investment, because knowing yourself better than anybody else just almost makes you like the perfect machine for yourself.
One of the greatest gifts. And as well, I've heard this before, but something that, you know, it was said again in something else I was watching, and I was like, I need to not forget this, which is just kind of like, even with us as entrepreneurs, and, you know, everyone's so focused on like being defined, defining, this is who I am, what I've done. Like, and it's just like this guy, he brought the importance of the fact of like, the reason why I've been able to be so successful, because I haven't like defined myself. Like once you start defining yourself, you're limiting yourself. And that's where that like tweet even came from. So yeah, it was really, really powerful stuff. So yeah, that's for health. Knowledge and education, that is another type of investment that I actively definitely see as a great investment into myself. I've grown so much as a person. I'm still growing. And that's a great thing about like education and knowledge. Like you never can know everything. Like it's there's information all around. You can learn from a 1-year-old to an animal to like everything. You can learn something from everything. And that as well is like a mindset, right? With education, I've learned that even having that mindset to be like, I'm able to learn from any and everything, that helps your whole experience as a human. So that is like a huge investment, I feel like, not just like going to college, university like that, but like really like taking in the world around you and being present. Like Killa had to like become knowledgeable and educate herself about, you know, how Black women's skin or Black melanated skin is affected by certain things. And like she's able to know what chemicals go with what, and, you know, whipping with the Sanjay, like it's all, you know, knowledge and education.
Tanya, amigos.
Legit.
But I smell it like my sunshine from Bali because I think she's awesome. So I spelled it like her name is. Yeah, I totally agree with that. 100%. That's absolutely accurate. I'm not a big reader, like as big of a reader as I should be, and it's kind of because I'm really fucking smart naturally. So I just kind of sit with it. But I do read definitely, and that's usually where my knowledge starts. Like my quest for knowledge starts with me. I'd say like I'll start on what would be the low level with reading and finding readings in the start. And like if I feel like I need more, or I'm staying on the surface, I'm not getting deep, I'm not finding any layers, then maybe I'd go try and enlist into a course and have somebody else help me out with that knowledge. But I would say a way that you can invest and that I would definitely invest when I need to is reading. I actually decided that I might want to take on some more learning when it comes to like mixing and formulating oils and stuff like that. And I actually want to get deeper into herbs, not even just for skincare, but for what we were talking about, health. You know what I mean? Like we have all these bush people in the West Indies that can tell you where every plant is and what it does. You know what I mean? Like that's how Sant Lisi kind of like thrived. It was always there, but that's how Sant Lisi thrived. Like someone's having fun out there. I was running around in St. Lucia with the Bushman down, and they're like, that plant does this, that plant does that. Oh, you know, papaya, da 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 da. You can put it on your skin. Did you know that? Well, now there's papaya seeds in the scrub, and everybody's like, what the is in the scrub? Killer, tell me what's in the scrub. And I'm like, papaya seeds. That's what it is. Yeah. So that's what I want to do. Get into that. We did a whole backup. And I found a book. Like I had it. And that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm like, I'm gonna start there before I even start looking into courses. Is like I'm gonna start doing my preliminary stuff. So that would be what I would say is just like, don't be afraid to start small and like look in a book. So simple. Just look in a book. And that's for education and knowledge, or at least one aspect of it.
That's the unfortunate part, that saying where they're like, yo, you want to hide something from niggas, put it in a book. So niggas open them books, open them up. And, you know, another key part of my growth is I always be a student, like rarely a teacher, always be a student. There's always something you can learn. I really, you know, getting into rooms where I am the least, because that shit makes me want to rise up and learn how to get everything that I need to get. Coach Stormy, I love to listen to her and watch her grow. A lot of people, may know her on social media for selling like the NutriBoost and whatever, but her story is so much more than that, And Coach Stormy, I've seen her like talk about this whole episode. She'd be like a perfect like poster for that, to be honest. And she was talking about the fact of like she always, did I share that story already? That she always wanted a PJ. Like she wanted a private jet, everything's happening. She finally has gotten in the room with Grant Cardone and like his friends, and she's getting that notoriety. And she was like, she went to some event or some housewarming that Grant Cardone just had for his island that he just bought. And she was like, I want a PJ. Huh?
Normalize shit like buying islands.
But that's what she was talking about. And she was like, yo, like, I had to put it into my reality. Like, yeah, I kept saying I want a PJ, but she's like, yo, she was supposed to go somewhere after that. Or like there was somewhere that she was supposed to go. And what they said on the invitation for it, the only way to pull up that you can even access it is through a private jet. So not only does she want a private jet, but her life is like requiring that, like that is a part of like what needs to be done. So you can't like sit at home by yourself, never talk to nobody, watch YouTube that has nothing to do with nothing, and be like, yo, I'm gonna earn $1 million one day. No. Who did you meet? Who did you talk to? What did you learn about acquiring that amount? Like you had to, in a sense, like build your life where that is like a requirement. Like it's normalize it, exactly like you said.
Straight up and down. It's interesting that you're like, you're talking about like the rooms that she's getting into and who did you meet. I think just to tie into that, what I'm realizing also now is like investing in yourself isn't necessarily socializing, it isn't necessarily networking, but it is connecting and putting yourself out there and like letting people know what your passions are and really what you bring to the table. And I guess that also goes along with knowledge as well, because knowledge of self would have you doing that and having a perfect like elevator pitch or 5-minute spiel or whatever, 5-second spiel or whatever it is. I've been watching a lot of people when I talk to them now and like how they just position their passion, how they position what it is that they're working on. And it excite when you're excited about something, like your enthusiasm kind of like bounces off on other people. But also like when you're out here like really connecting with other people and telling them what your goals are, what your strengths are, like they don't even realize, like they catch the fever and like they start writing for you and things start happening. So that's definitely a good point when it comes to investing in yourself in terms of like knowledge and that good.
Yeah. So next following would be physical appearance. At least that's what I had on my list, not in any particular order, but it is important to me. Times when I was heavily in depression, I wasn't even looking in a mirror. I would think a mirror was around. And that was something that once I said, you know what, no, like I really gotta, today I'm really gonna brush my hair and scrape the top end, need to top end, I never used to wear makeup, and I remember at my entry levels to it, someone was like, you can sometimes putting on a little pop of color, just that pop of color will help to improve your mood like within. And that has worked for me plenty of times in the past where I wasn't feeling it or anything. And then boom, put on a pop of color and I'm like, feeling a little bit better. So I'm not saying it in a base to be like vanity or like obsessed with yourself. It's just something about caring about yourself, doing your laundry, washing your clothes, cutting your nails, lotioning, oiling your skin. Something about those things is very like, it feels like I love me. I want me. I care about what happens to this out here. You know what I mean? So yeah, the internal is very important. And when you put it internally, will execute externally. But as well, those are some things on the outside that I definitely,
Word.
Sorry, Killa. moms, yo. Like raising up the blood pressure. Like, god damn. I need to stop that. Honestly, that's something personally, just as a side note, that like I cautiously have been realizing I've been doing, where it's just like, just because she's at a certain age, does it mean something's like always wrong when she calls? So I really need to mentally like start checking myself for that.
But that's interesting that happened at this moment. And I'm going to have to put a pin. Hold on. Physical appearance, direction. It's interesting. It's like when you're investing in yourself, one thing that you might want to take out of your portfolio is worry.
Which most
definitely.
So
it's so interesting that came in during this conversation, that like, you don't want worry. Nobody wants worry.
No, take it out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a little blur, but it's interesting. Yeah, like you talk about your appearance, and everybody obviously thinks vanity, and obviously it can be vanity, but you should also be able to look at it from another perspective, like you're investing in your worth. You know what I mean? Like not necessarily your physical appearance, because like you said, it's about cutting your nails, it's about making sure your clothes are clean, it's about making sure you wash your ass, it's about, you know, just like being kept at the end of the day. And like it's not always about looking a certain way. It's about it's always going to come down to like, it's going to make you feel a certain way, because it is an act of you investing in yourself. Self-care is an act of investment.
Facts.
An active investment also. And it's interesting also, you were talking about just like putting on a little bit of makeup and, you know, zhuzhing and seeing that.
That's the perfect word for it.
When we have hard times of depression, through any depression, wars, things like this, panini, what studies find is that the sales of lipstick go up. Because it's a tangible luxury, but it's a mood booster.
I did not know that. Goes to Sephora, and that's why I sell lipstick.
Girl, throw on a new lippy. Try a new lippy on. Try on 5. Watch Jackie Ina try on 5. You know what I mean? Like,
shout out to you, Jackie. You definitely helped carry me through this panini. Real Jackie Ina fans know I'm glad. For real.
Yeah. So that's all like super dope, you know, like give yourself a little pedicure, give your feet a break, you know, you be walking all over trying to get this money, trying to get these investments in. Like self-care is very much an important investment. 100.
One of my friends mentioned to me, like, yo, she was feeling down, damn near ended up at Massage Addict 5 days out of the week. I was like, get it, girl, get it. And thank you, God, for blessing my friends that were able to just do shit like that when we feel the levels going down. Because that's what we work so fucking hard to do. Not just pay the bills, but you're feeling down, you could do little things like that.
Very true. Instant chemical response.
That part. I started watching this podcast. It's this lecturer guy at Stanford University, but he was talking about your melatonin and how, like, you know, you can increase it by like 250% in like really natural ways to help, like, you know, but I want to finish taking it in before we could probably have a whole like positives and negatives of melatonin in our lives, because it's way huger than people think. But cold showers was a main thing that he said really helped, or like those ice baths that you'll see, and like, you know, how that can help to raise your level of like productivity, because when you're feeling, you do more shit, right? So that was physical appearance, I guess we could say. As well, like, especially now that I'm 30, and I know I've mentioned it before, but god damn, do I have to stretch every day? Do I have to drop down and get my eagle on every day? Or else if I do not, I'll hear so.
But that also goes back to that, like, investing in that habit. Like, you want to do that now because it only increases. Like, the stiffness only increases. Not that I know, because I'm athletic. Oh, no, joking. I'm a lazy asshole.
So now when we get into habitat/living. So I wasn't sure how to like say it, but basically it was like whatever environment that you're spending the most time in. Like when niggas say, yo, I want to come home, I need to be peaceful, I need to be whatever. That is a huge investment. I'm not saying you gotta buy Ethan Allen's and the most expensive of the expensive, but what are the things like I knew when I was getting my new couch, I was like, my nigga, I don't care that is almost $4,000. This is the couch I want because I know a bitch loves to watch Netflix. You know, I'm cinema ready. So I needed something that it fit that like comfort and that plush feeling that I want to feel when enjoying those moments. And that was something that, like, as I said, growing up, I don't want to say in poverty, but like in not the best circumstances. I didn't have a room of my own. I didn't have like, you know what I mean? The privilege of like going to the living room and watching TV in my big house. I didn't have that, you know? So maybe that is part of like why I make some of the financial or like decisions in life that I do now. But there's certain luxuries that I was just like, this needs to be a part of my life, no questions asked. This is a part of me investing into myself because especially with what I'm dealing with out there or with work here or dealing with like a lot of things, I need to have the environment that I'm in reflect, like, show me that it's worth it. Show me what I'm doing is worth it. And as Killa said, I feel very rich. I'm thankful to God every day for my situation because I don't take it lightly. I don't take it lightly. What do you think? Well, I know you're huge on habitat living, but like, what do you think of it?
Yeah, like absolutely. It's your place of solitude. You should be able to create and curate a space that like you feel 100% comfortable. And at home, like you need a space to open your mind and just kind of like expand. And what and how you make it that way is like that's you. Like that's going to be different for everybody. Like somebody might want to go to Ethan Allen. Somebody might want to be like super minimalist and have space in their apartment. Some people have to sage up their place like once a month and like do those kind of things. And those are all great. I don't think any of those are wrong. I just think it depends on what it is that brings you that feeling exactly. For me, it is definitely a place of solitude. Like my one thing that I have created for my space is as a single woman, men don't come in my apartment. If we're dating, you don't step in my apartment because that's my space, that's my energy. I control the energy that's in there. And you like there has to be a very serious, conscious, active conversation and plan before you get in my spot.
Cause men be acting like, is it just me? Can we have this girl talk real quick?
We can put it to the side and have this sidebar right now. Yeah, we can. Let's have this.
Real. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. I remember one time, you know, I dealt with an individual. They weren't nothing. I was just getting a little zhuzh. You know, as a hardworking woman, I didn't need you all up in my space. I just need a little zhuzh for the night. You feel me? And since this is in a place where you could come and get the permission to do the zhuzhing, you
show you how to run this.
Right? And like, yo, dude was like, you know, like, can I go to the bathroom? Where's the bathroom? I'm like, here.
That's what we're gonna talk about.
I'm hearing all other doors opening. Now, like when you're suddenly in the neighborhood, you're popping by, you're here, you're so this is all you? So this is all you? You know that you see that Twitter thing going on right now with the red flags, the amount that I could do. Okay. Listen, I was like, yo, and on top of that, before a dude left, he asked me if I had change on my dumb ass. I never asked myself change for what. And I had like $50 cash in my purse and I gave it to him. And I never got my change, not even a 20. So not only did dude not do what he was supposed to do with the zhuzhing, came up in my space, opening up all the cupboards. Yes, I be listening. Open up the bathroom, like you use the sink. You don't need to be opening all these things, and then ask me pretty much for gas money and probably a meal. I don't know. as he left. And I know some of you fellows may be listening now, be like,
and a dime. I don't think he didn't get a dime back too. He got a dime bag off that too. This nigga just went and had another date with himself after. What a motherfucker. Look at that shit.
So now, red flag, red flag, red flag.
It's interesting you brought that up because like that's usually the way that men try to get around that. And then that just becomes a whole other situation where I'm like, I really hate mind games. Like I'm sensitive to them. Oh, fucking Oracle. Like, why are you playing mind games with me? Hey, can I use your bathroom? The amount of times I've had men say, like, what's wrong with you? This isn't cool. You're not a good person. I'm just like, man, fuck you. I'm not a good person to you. But right now, I'm going to go upstairs to my apartment by myself. And you're not going to go walking around every room doing this, and looking at all the pictures on my fucking fridge, talking about, oh, you know her? Yeah, we're fucking family. Get the hell out.
Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. And it's like, that's a whole nother conversation. We're digressing to somewhere else that we should.
Let's do this next week because I feel it in the air. A lot of people have been complaining, saying things, what's happening out there, the atmosphere. This is a topic to be had. When you go to fucking people's places, mind your business.
Like, have some manners. Like, what the fuck raised you, bro? Like, have manners. Manners mean boundaries mean 1 time, 2 time. But that is one of like a main rule that I have, and that's something that I used to keep my space peaceful, where it's like, I definitely manage and mitigate who brings energy into my space because I like where the energy is. You know what I'm saying? I like the energy of my apartment. And
1,000.
Also, let's just talk like things like this.
Yeah, I love your wall. Favorite. Favorite.
Like, just fun shit.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to talk about that next week. You know what? And next week I was gonna pitch you. Maybe that's what we can do, the revenge episode. So I feel like it'll just be a good little time. Okay. A good little time. But yeah. So the stuff at the bottom half that was for the revenge episode, and I forgot to like take it out there to let God pay back the people that hurt you. So that'll be for next week, guys. But yeah, so like let's invest in ourselves. Sorry, we took a little detour, but we back.
We had a sidebar. We brought it back.
We brought it back,
It was a little gem. We threw a gem in there for you, A tidbit. A little something.
You know what? And if you're watching, honestly, if you have sent in your worst date story, I want it. And I'm going to post it to our socials as well. I want your worst date story because it's wild out here. I be on Twitter like, oh, hell nah. Like, yeah, it gets crazy out here. So I have a fun one that I'll share. So, yeah. But that would be a good little fun way to get into revenge next week. But yeah, let's invest in ourselves. Let's really take the time. I find like, especially at this juncture, like in womanhood, we're taught to like take care of so many external factors, external people. But it's like, like one of my best friends that's a mom, I'm like, bitch, how you do it? Like, how you, and she's the one telling me at like 6 a.m, make sure you're getting some time for yourself, whatever. I'm like, damn, like that's what we have to be doing, getting up at the crack of fucking dawn before the world wakes up, just so that we can be ourselves before we gotta like be a woman for the rest of the day for the world, right? Oh, the pressures.
I find it interesting, like I agree with what you're saying, but I find it interesting that like you said that you have to go be a woman for the world. And I've been realizing these days that like the role of a woman, like the real essence and the power and the strength of a woman isn't really documented anywhere. Like I had to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Like being a mom is obviously a powerful thing. Taking care of a home is obviously a powerful thing, but it's not, it's like even that just skims the surface of what she's doing. You know what I mean? Like she's creating equilibrium. She's putting a foundation down in your home. You know what I mean? Like she's stabilizing the household. You know what I'm saying? Like those are powerful things. And you don't really look at it like that. You're just like, you're a housewife. It's like, no, you're a pillar.
Of the fucking community.
Of the fucking community. So if you invest in yourself, essentially you're investing in your community.
1,000%. 1,000%. So yeah, let's continue to invest in ourselves. I'm sure there's plenty of other ways we could diversify our income when it comes to us. Let us know if we missed any, but I really felt like health, knowledge, education, physical appearance, habitat, your living space. Sorry, Hilla?
We spoke on it last week, that the whole like what kind of friends do you have kind of thing.
That was a community / team. Oh shit, we didn't break it down. Sorry, you started off. I knew I was missing one.
Yeah, I'm always gonna start it there off the strength that I've had the best friends in life that like they're everything to me. So I would definitely start with your friends. Like you can invest in yourself by having quality friends. That's tricky. That's a rare investment. That's like what would be an Amazon stock right about now? That might be like 5 Bitcoins, maybe more. Actually, I'd say it's about 50 Bitcoins to have a dope squad, because it's rare as fuck. It's rare as fuck to have it, and it's rare as fuck because you can't force somebody else to invest in you. You know what I mean? Like you can invest in yourself. You can push yourself to invest in yourself. You can learn to invest in yourself, but you can't force anybody else to invest in you. And when you find people that have absolutely no problem or didn't need anything in return or given to them in order for them to do it, like that investment is going to pay off 50,000 fold. You know what I mean? Like show me your friends. Show me your friends and you show me who you are.
Facts. 1000%. And like community, the team is like so important. Like having a structure just like you would with an investment, right? A team of investors or whatever. There's some people that are really going to help to rise your stock, get you the best return on investment. I really thank God for the community that he's starting to develop around me. It doesn't have an age to it, because like Kill and I are different. Like we're giving you 2 different examples, and that's just 2. She's someone that has a solid group of people around her for a very long time. For me, it's like along my journey, because it's so like lonely most of the time. And a lot of these places I go into, that is where I will meet someone eventually in that space that we will connect on so many, and it's something that I cannot even put a value on. So, you know what I mean? I remember even when I used to be a nanny, and I know there was a lot of criticism I would get like from my family, and I'm a firm believer, especially pre-Panini, where I was like, I didn't care what I did. The check come by weekly, just get me my bread, right? Ego wasn't filled in. I done waitressing. I've done all types of jobs, right? So it was like, nannying was one of the most humbling experiences for me, because I was dealing with a lot of rich white people's kids and being in that stereotypical position of the help, and really having to have my pride in it and taking notice to how people treated me or didn't treat me, being around these, people and families and stuff. And it's just some of those people, that I've nannied with, they are some of like the most important people in my life today, even though I no longer watch their children for them, just because I don't know if it's, the love that and the care that they seen. I'm not going to assume, so I don't know if it's the love and the care that they seen that I give, because they're like, you know what, really fucking with Kay, like what she's doing, you know what I mean? From the jump, being around these people, I've never been like, oh my gosh, you're rich, what do I do? Like, if anything, I joke about it and be my Black self, right? And it's just so important that like, don't put a face, a label, or age on what your community or team looks like. Like you can't do that, because you're limiting. Similar to we were saying like, can't define yourself. Like don't define your team. You can't define your team. Like I see some people where like, I'm forgetting her name now, but she had her child at like the age of 16. So her child is like, really grown. Like when it's like the mom had the child young, so the child is like really, they're closer in age, I guess, in a sense. And like her 13-year-old kid is now like one of her best assistants, helping her put WordPress and all these things together. So it's just like, you cannot, you know what I mean? I'm thinking like, if that was my worst, I'm like, yeah, look, go pick me. Oh, like you cannot put age, color, like you just don't know what the help looks like. You don't know where it's coming from. That's the beauty of God, So try not to do that to your team.
Yeah, like with community, I agree with you. And it's really similar to like having your core group of friends, like find people that actually want to invest in you. It's a little bit different when you go out into a community and like other people's interests might be at play as well. Might be a little bit harder to establish that. So yeah, like have an open mind on who you are connecting with.
That was
investment. We didn't really have it on the list, but I've been thinking like this whole week was like a week of kill your ego, kill the ego, and I'm like, I think that's a great investment for anybody. It's just like
that's a liability. Gotta go.
100%, nothing else other than of killing the ego is a huge investment. Like if we were talking Amazon, what's bigger than Amazon? Whatever that is, it would be that stuff. Killing your ego and also just like implementing that gratitude. You know what I mean? Like keeping that humility about you, about the goodness that comes from that. That's also, your gratitude journal and all that kind of stuff. That's very much an investment in yourself as well.
1,000. So guys, I'm wishing all of us to have a real wealthier life than we're having now. And I hope this conversation really helped, give some thought into investing in yourself. And these are all things that I firmly believe once you do that for yourself, naturally, you're going to see how it duplicates and multiplies and all those things in your life and everywhere else. Sometimes by you just doing that, you don't know how it inspires others to like follow trend or, even if they feel like they're in competition with you, at least they're competing for a good thing. It will benefit them in the end anyways, So yeah, ego, let that bitch go. Let it go.
Word.
Was there anything else you want to say in close of this week's episode? The Caucasian of it all, the caucasity of it all.
Ooh, your caucasity. Don't come to me with that. Yeah, like it's also it's great to acquire, and I feel like I actually don't think about whether or not I'm gonna get wealthier. I'm cool with doing the work, but right now it's just like maybe even think about how you can raise somebody else's investment, because service in itself can be an investment to you. So that's something, some food for thought. Like, how are you investing in others to make it a synergy, to like keep it going, so that everybody eats. And that's something that like me and T used to talk about a lot. Like everybody eats, see? Like that's what everybody. It is. There was a whole year of nigga, everybody eats. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna be like the people in heaven. We're gonna feed each other, type thing. So like think about that when you're acquiring and you're putting in your goals to acquire. That like you should want to see other people acquire. You know what I mean? You should be joyful for other people acquiring as well. You know what I mean? Like get the light and be the light on that investment tip.
Agreed. Point blank period. We gonna be out. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Let us know what you think. As I said, you can email us eatfruitpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at eatfruitpod. And both Killa and I on Twitter. And like I'm on Instagram. Killa is around town. And like I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Let's keep practicing grace out there, because niggas is wildin'. I'm gonna keep y'all updated if I hear anything more about these panini sniffing dogs.
I'm not updating you on shit.
I wanna
keep
know.
That fear-mongering at home, bro. Go live good. Don't worry about the dogs.
So there's this rapper. There's this not rapper. There's this guy. He's like a ball player that Drake has been like around a lot in Toronto. He's like this young boy ball player, but really love my God, I'm gonna say his name right now. Sorry. Drake has been in and around with him, but he's like one of these young guys playing ball like in the city, and really, really love it because you know, I feel like he's getting a little bit more into his dad bag, if that makes any sense.
Word.
Let me see. This guy didn't even, I want to say the kid's name was like Snooki, because it's something really nice happening like in the city. So I didn't want to like pretend like K Showtime. There we go. K Showtime. So he's this young boy in the city, but he like plays ball, like pulls up on people anywhere, just giving them beer cross feed, jerk up their ankle, everything. So Drake has caught wind of that like movement. And he was at Drake's house, like playing ball and whatever. But I just love the fact that, as I said, he's been in this industry for like a decade plus, actively like at the top of his game. And now we're seeing him at a point where he's diversifying his portfolio. This is what it is, right? And like, I'm thinking about him having Adonis and, you know, really tapping into these younger youth, like what we've seen him do with Smiley, with Pressa, and how many other youth that we don't even know or could fathom, you know? So I love the energy among that Toronto Kings. And I'm hoping that that is just something that you see continued and multiplied, and OGs are really out there doing what real OGs do, right? And putting these kids in position to win. Yeah. That's just what I wanted to say about that. It wasn't like a huge, like, you know, but I just want to put that on notice.
All right. Notice.
All right. And I'll read this from Justin Bieber.
The fuck?
That he posted on from the desk of Justin Bieber. Good morning. Today we wake up with new possibilities and new, what are we gonna have as a like Christian Justin Bieber name? I need a.
Why is there a 2x4 out my window just suspended? And I needed to know. I needed to know why there was a whole 2x4 just chilling midair.
I'm telling you. So I need a Christian Justin Bieber name. Pastor Bieber?
No. Why are we giving this man pastor? He's not pastor.
Evangelist Bieber? Okay.
Brother Bieber.
Good morning.
Honestly, I'm tired of giving like people who aren't in our community like little things from our community. I don't know, man.
Right?
Fine.
Right? I was shocked at this one, so I was like, I'll share it. So good morning. Today we wake up with new possibilities and new ways to look for the wonder that is all around us. It may feel like you have lost your wonder for life. I have good news. God is here and he is working all things together for good, even your mistakes. Trust that God is not mad at you. He is gracious and loving and forgives us. Sit in his presence, knowing that he's in control.
Amen.
Right?
Amen. And I love the word. I definitely do. I'm also kind of worried about people who like know the word like that, but choose to use it when it serves them.
Girl.
Like, my dude, pick up your walk, eh? Pick up your walk, young man.
Max, but he's coming far away from Beebs in the Trap, so we'll see how that goes.
Beebs ain't never been in the trap.
You know, I'm not shooting the messenger. I seen the word and I was like, God, I accept it. That was a good word.
Wild.
Right. And yeah, so leave you guys with that. Killa.
Till next week, my friends. Stay moisturized and hydrated. Invest in yourself, invest in your community, give and get back and all that.